Hi guys, this is Pestily and welcome to another Escape from Tarkov video. In this video, I'm covering the preliminary patch notes for patch 0.12.8, which is due to drop most likely next week. They released the patch notes just very shortly ago, and I'm going to quickly skim through the major points that you guys might be excited about. And yeah, without further ado, let's crack straight into it. So starting off with what they've added, they're adding a new crafting skill and hideout management skill to the hideout, and unsure exactly what it's going to be yet, but it sounds like it's pretty obvious. Like, probably reduce crafting time and also the cost in maintaining the hideout. So for example, maybe fuel usage or something along the lines of that. The compass will be added in this patch, and you'll be able to see the compass physically, and there will be a little digital display down the bottom right hand corner of your screen, so you can actually get the correct bearing. So you can, if you're running in a squad and say on shoreline, you can say there's a player like 240 degrees to, you know, in the direction of 240 degrees, whatever you want to say. Anyway, the heavy bleeding will be added in patch 0.12.8. We saw a example of this during the latest Tarkov podcast from Nikita. There will be two new meds to heal heavy bleeds, which are a tourniquet, an S-March tourniquet, and the hemostatic syringe, which is like a gauze thing that you inject into you, and it expands from the blood, and that stops a heavy bleed. So that, and also the Kvass beverage will be added for the food and drink side of things. The fast backpack dump will be added to the game, double tapping Z. A lot of this stuff I actually showed in the Tarkov podcast just recently, so there'll be examples from there if you want to see further detail, but I might have some pop up in this video to at least show you there, so you can see that as well. There's going to be a new voice line for the bear, and also the Scav boss, Glucker, Sanitar, and Rashala are also going to have their own unique voice lines as well, which is going to be pretty cool. There will be new faces and clothing for Scavs, and there will be new character animations in the menu on the loading screen and in the inventory. I'm pretty sure a little bit further down, part of the quality of life stuff is when you're in the actual menu and you're queuing up with other people, you'll actually be able to see the loadouts of everyone inside your squad, which will be pretty cool. As for new equipment, new clothes, USEC and Bear will have new upper and lower clothing you'll be able to purchase, and there's a heap of new armors, vests, chest rigs, backpacks, headphones, helmets, and berets for you to go crazy over, which I'm sure you will. Now for quality of life changes, I'm not going to go over every single one of them because, well, pretty much the next few topics, I'm not going to go over every single one of them because there is a lot to cover. Just the ones that stand out that you guys might, you know, think are really cool. They've redesigned the whole grouping lobby system where you actually see the character models of all the other people inside your group. The new colored health screen when you're inside a raid is actually going to be available to be in either the default that we've got now, or it'll show the same as in the health screen. So you can make it so, you know, when you've got a damaged limb, it'll be red, and when you're at full health, it'll be green. So you've got the option of changing between that. If you're in the flea market and you go to buy, say, 5 in an item, and when there's 5 available, but then 2 of them have already sold, it will still buy the 3, which is actually something I find really annoying. Say you want to buy 160 rounds of like 5.56 BS, and then someone just goes and buys like 30 rounds of it. You'll still be able to get the remaining rounds, which is actually sweet. So that's going to be a lot more, you know, just one of those. So some of those annoyances, they're actually working on getting all those quality of life things done, which is great. The sort function will be available. I showed it off in the post podcast screen where you can actually sort bags or the stash. I don't think the stash will be used that much because it moves all your containers at the moment, but at least for bags, or at least ammo containers and magazine containers, you'll be able to sort them via caliber and type, which will be really helpful. Something that I think is going to be really cool, it says here, is in the kill list after the raid of the field distance, showing the distance of the fatal shot was added. I'm not totally sure if this means all the list of all your kills. You'll be able to see the distance of each of your kills, or the distance on the fatal shot that killed you will be added. Either way, it's going to be actually really cool. So we can actually do some testing on ranges and zeroing, all that kind of stuff. If it does show all your kills in the ranges in which you killed them, that's going to be sweet, because then that's going to make it really easy for testing. But even if it is like, hey, I died to someone like 100 meters away, you know, you can kind of get a better understanding of the distances that way too. So as a testing point of view, it's really cool. And then if you're doing stuff like Shooter Born in Heaven, that's going to be really helpful as well. Now, something you might have seen in a video that I did a long time ago, or not a long time ago, a few months back, where it was like my 1 to 40 gear guide was, you might have seen the videos of me unchambering around and chambering around and stuff like that, which got a really cool animation where it they cock the weapon, you take the mag off, it cocks the weapon, and it flicks the round out and you catch it. There are actually going to be hotkeys for that too. So it's not really like, you know, it's going to make the game so much better for you, but you will be able to chamber around via the hotkeys, or unchamber around as well, which is pretty cool. They've added this little thing that you probably would notice from like an SKS or that, is if you have actual spare rounds inside your pockets, for some guns, if there's no mag on the actual gun, you're going to be able to just straight up chamber around straight into the gun without having to do it through the screen. So for example, if you're desperate to get one more shot off, you could literally chamber around one round at a time on pretty much any gun. So that's actually going to be pretty cool. I'm interested in seeing how that actually works. And lastly, out of the quality of life stuff, the treatment from therapists will be free for the first 5 levels of a character. So if you're level 1 to 5 and you die at the end of a raid, you'll be able to heal for free from therapists. So it's just making that little bit of that when you're struggling as a newer player, you're not losing all that money. I wouldn't actually mind if this went all the way to level 10, to be honest, just to give those people that are just starting out just that little bit of a more comfort room. But let's say level 5 for now is fine. I think that's maybe about 20,000 XP. So if they survive like 4 or 5 raids, that's pretty much that XP done. And then, yeah, so maybe if it goes a little bit higher later on, but I think that's a really nice way to just make it easier for the players that are getting into the game. As for optimization and AI improvements, I'm not really going to go over the both of these in any detail. They are adding a new high quality color option, which is going to be enabled by default. But it's meant to, I don't know, increase the performance of the game in some way. So we'll have to do a little bit of testing on that. To be honest, most of the time when they add these kind of things, you might see 1 or 2 frames increase. I don't know. So we'll have to wait and see with that. With the AI stuff, I'm not really going to go through all that stuff. You can read all the AI improvements and the fixes. There are a lot of AI improvements and fixes, but there is a few changes I definitely want to cover. So moving over to changes and not going over every single one of them, just the ones that are going to be really important for you guys to actually take note of. Skills that require body hit to progress are not going to progress with party members. So if you squad up with someone, go into a raid, get them to shoot you in your arm so you can level up your stress resistance, that will no longer work. And you'll have to like get hit properly by either scavs or other players from other groups. And that will be, that won't be possible anymore. When characters are hit by a flashbang and they've got the flash effect, if you go to reload, you will be dropping your magazine and putting in the next mag. It's going to use that double R function instead of the single tap R function because you're flashed. It's kind of part of that immersive side of Tarkov. It's kind of like some of the quirky stuff that I actually really enjoy about Tarkov, where yeah, if you're being flashed, instead of being able to take your mag out, put it into your rig like you would, and just take out the next one and keep going, you'll actually have to drop the mag. But it will make your reloads faster, at least, if you flashbang. A change that a lot of people have been hoping for and wanting is they've reduced the damage from the 40mm grenades, and hopefully that'll also change the arming distance of some of the grenades as well, or the 40mm, because they've been a very controversial thing when it comes to labs, and a lot of people are some people just want it straight up removed from the game. BSG don't want to remove it from the game, so hopefully this will find some middle ground, and the blast radius of those grenades will be reduced enough to make it a little bit more comfortable for some people. So increasing some of the armor piercing ammos of the TT for the 7.62 by 25 ammo. This is the pupper shaft ammo as well. So if it is high enough, then it might make it quite viable for, say, middle tier armors to get through. But right now, it's kind of more of a leg meta gun. It's a lot of fun to use, but we'll have to wait and see where the penetration sits with that ammunition. Maybe I'll do some testing videos on that. The PC blocks are going to spawn SSDs and SAS drives. So for the hideout, there's some items that are really frustrating to try and find, and particularly to get craft as well. I think some, like the graphics cards or some of the other ones, like the Vertexes, need some of these items to do the crafts. You will be able to find these in computers from now on, or at least from the patch, which is going to be really helpful. And then other containers within the game are also going to have various types of equipment, vests, and backpacks, which in the past, we haven't been able to find those items in raid, or they've been super rare. So it's actually been kind of annoying to try and find that if you're doing a hardcore challenge, or you just want to try and find more gear inside the raid. So if you don't take in a backpack, you might find one in a container. Big thumbs up for me with that one. They are doing an increase to the fall damage. They've slowly been increasing the fall damage over time. Have to wait and see if we can still yeet ourselves off our 2nd and 3rd floor buildings. That will have to be a test done after the patch. A big one that a lot of people have been asking for a long time is the Tarkov shooter series will now be able to be completed by any bolt action rifle, being your Mosin SV98, the Remington 700, and the DVL, and I'm probably missing one. So you'll be able to use any of them to complete those quests. You won't just have to use a Mosin, which should hopefully make it a lot more enjoyable for some of the people. And they'll be able to have more variety. And it's kind of cool to be able to pimp out a Remington 700 and then go sniping anyway. Or at least the Remington 700 is one of my favorite guns in the game. So the quest for the unlocking Jaeger has also been moved to when you accept Gunsmith Part 1. In the past, it was when you complete Gunsmith Part 1, and Gunsmith Part 1 has now been lowered to being unlocked at level 2. So for that, it means you'll be able to pretty much get to level 2 without even leaving the menu screen if you were to examine all the stuff on Fence and all the on all the traders, and you could probably go to your first raid in Woods and unlock Jaeger if you really wanted to. That's personal preference if you want to do that or not, but I guess it's an option out there. They are reworking some of the spawns on Reserve. There is particularly some spots near the RBAOVO building near the train station that I know for a fact that if you spawn in and you quickly go straight to the tower, you can straight away kill someone on spawning in on some of the other locations. So hopefully they've been moved around. And also, player scavs won't be able to spawn in as early into the raid on Reserve. We don't know how late they're going to be pushed into, but they're pushing it back later into the raid, which would be quite nice. Lastly, for the change section, the reducing of the trader's restock timer to about 2 hours instead of 3. Jaeger is still currently at 1 hour, so having all the other ones go down to 2 should make a pretty noticeable difference when trying to get some of those ammunitions and items that sell out every time it resets, and should make some of the progression for a lot of people, or at least getting some of the ammo just a little bit more comfortable, because depending on the ammunition, some of it just sells out instantly and you never get an option to buy it. This is pretty much going to make it, hopefully, a lot more available for you guys to be able to buy some of the ammunition. Lastly, just to reiterate, the patch will not be this week. It will most likely be next week. They usually put the patch notes out about a week before. So hopefully we'll have this patch out next week, and I'll be diving straight into it before I head back to Australia. I'm heading back to Australia in about 2 weeks' time, and I'll be, doing my thing from there. But yeah, no patch this week, no wipe with patch 0.12.8. I'm under the impression that maybe 0.12.9 might have one, as just the time frames of the year, but we'll have to wait and see with that. All right, as for new weapons and weapon parts, the M45A1 pistol has been added to the game, or will be added to the game. It is a .45 caliber. There is a new AP round that is available for it, and it might be a lot more viable. We'll have to wait and see, depending on magazine size and how it all rolls. I still personally like the 5.7, and it's my go-to. But, well, like I said, have to wait and see. New pistol, doesn't have a suppressor for it yet, and it has a threaded barrel available for it, or will have one. But they said they'll add a suppressor at a later date. The KS23 shotgun, this one they have spoken about a long while ago. I can't remember. We saw some imagery of it a long time ago, but it's a 23 by, I want to say 75 millimeter shell. I don't know really much about it. It's a Russian-made shotgun from my memory, and it's meant to pack a really big punch. Could be really cool. It could be like a new meta that just comes out of nowhere. It's a pump-action shotgun. But yeah, I'll leave it at that. The RFB rifle, we saw this during the podcast, the Tarkov TV live thing, where it's another 7.62 by 51, and it should be a semi-automatic rifle. Bit of fun there. And then they're adding a heap of new weapon mods and parts for all the guns that are already in the game. So guys, thanks for watching another video. If you liked it, smash the shit out of the like button for the YouTube algorithm. If you like anyone's YouTube video, you should definitely be liking it, commenting on it. It really does help with discoverability. It doesn't have to be my channel, any channel. Also, if you want to keep up to date with the latest Tarkov news, I don't post news videos all the time because I don't want to just beat a dead horse or whatever it's called, but I just try and keep you guys up to date with what's going on in the Tarkov world when it actually does come out. So if you want to know about that information, subscribe, notification bell for the latest. Otherwise, I do pump out plenty of guides. All my map guides will be coming out over the next few days. I've got 4 of them ready to post, so 1 a day for the next 4 days. And there's, I think, 2 more after that we've still got to finish making. And on top of that, a lot of good content going to be coming out with the Race to the Case series. That's going to be like a short 6-episode series. I think it is 6 or 7 episodes where I go from 0 to an Epsilon container on a standard account in about 14 hours. So you'll be able to see the condensed version of that. Lots of really cool stuff coming. So make sure you do subscribe for that. If you've got any Tarkov questions, feel free to hit me up in the comments. I try to respond to as many comments as possible, but there are a lot these days. And I do stream on Twitch every day of the week. So, yeah, usual drill. Go down the link below. Give me a follow over there. I will be flying back to Australia in about 2 weeks' time. So, There will be a few days where I won't be streaming, but it should be back to full swing once I'm back in Australia. Anyway, guys, lastly, I'll see you next time.